Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The Pittsburgh Pirates have the third best record in the major leagues. The Royals have the second best. And after an entertaining game last night, it's game 2 at Kauffman Stadium. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Brian Lefevre. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. Royals are going to see Garrett Cole tonight. He is the Pirates' ace. The Royals this year, they have beaten Corey Kluber 3 times. They've beaten David Price. They've beaten Felix Hernandez. They have beaten Chris Sale. All pitchers they had seen before. They have not seen Garrett Cole yet. How do you think they'll do tonight?
Well, they'll have their hands full. There's no question about it. He's one of the best in the National League. However, in interleague play this year, the Royals never saw Cueto. They never saw Arrieta. Those 2 pitchers in the National League, and they handled them with no problem. So, look, they're not afraid of anybody. However, Cole's got some great weapons. He has 13 wins already this year. Oh, you know, he's 24 years old. He's a fearless guy, and he's highly competitive. Kind of guy that likes to beat you in every little thing off the field as well. He's got a great angle. He's going to use both sides of the plate. He's got an explosive fastball. But really, the Royals, they've seen it all before. And the Royals are really swinging the bats well lately. We had the fireworks on the 4th of July, and then on July 5th, our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard shows us where the Royals rank. Now, this isn't the Central Division. This isn't the American League. This is where the Royals rank in the Major League since July 5th. Yeah, look at the runs. The runs is every manager's dream to be able to get that with any kind of pitching staff. And with the Royals bullpen, man, it's pretty much over once you get past the 5th or 6th inning even. It's been exciting to see. Hopefully it continues and they can get tonight's game so they can try to get the series tomorrow. Jason Vargas comes back from the disabled list tonight. Yordano Ventura goes down to the minor leagues. And Joel and Monty will talk about that right after this.
Couple of dates in history on July 21st. First off, 1978, Clint Hurdle, who's here with the Pirates, 3 for 3 that day with 6 RBI, and Paul Splittorff got his 100th career win. He threw 9 shutout innings. Also, go back 5 years before that, July 21st, 1973, the Water Spectacular, later known as the Fountains, will make their debut at Royal Stadium 3 days later. Beautiful Royal Stadium would host the All-Star game. Back here, not too far from the Fountains, Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, Yordano Ventura, 4 innings, 6 runs last night. Crowded rotation, and now a move today by the team.
Right, the Royals have a good problem, and that's too many quality arms. And the fact that Danny Duffy went out on Sunday, went into the 9th inning, really made the decision easy with both of those guys having options. Yordano Ventura, the guy that goes.
So Jason Vargas comes up, Yordano Ventura, option to the minors. The Royals, everyone, players, manager, coaching staff saying they absolutely believe in him, but they want him to get right. They're counting on him to deliver down the stretch and into the playoffs. What can he do right now?
Well, I think in a low-stress environment in the minor leagues, he goes down and he works on being consistent and not trying to do too much. Establish that confidence, then come back and do exactly what he did during the end of last season.
Jason Vargas is back tonight as he returns from the disabled list. 9th start of the year, and it will be his first since June 8th. Vargas against Cole. Royals and Pirates first pitch coming up.
Royals baseball is brought to you by your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your local Chevy dealers for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Another big crowd here tonight. We had a sellout of over 38,000 here tonight. And Jason Vargas is back from the disabled list. Kia puts us in the driver's seat, and it was a bit of a surprise that Vargas went down with the same injury, because before he went on the DL, he was pitching very well. In fact, his last start on June the 8th, he turned in 6 scoreless innings, but the Royals shut him down.
He was carving that dish up. Half scalpel will work. I'm telling you now, that scalpel means hitting the corners with his fastballs. He's got an excellent curveball that he'll mix him up with, but the changeup is effective against right-handers and against lefties, but mainly he'll use that against righties.
Clint Hurdle's team picked up a half game in the Central. The Cardinals did not play last night. And a big game. The Pirates had 10 runs, 17 hits. 17 hits, the most allowed by the Royals this year. And their leadoff man, Gregory Polanco, had 2 hits and 2 runs scored. And Vargas' first pitch is lifted to the left side of the infield. And Alcides Escobar brings it down. 1 pitch, 1 away.
Now the Royals, they finally met their own match. last night. But baseball is decided in series, and they would like to be able to get tonight's game if they can have a chance to win this series. But Pittsburgh, they present some issues. They can hit the ball, so outfield positions is going to be important. Dyson, go ahead. Fill in for Alex Gordon the best way you can. He's got a nice throwing arm. He's played all the outfield spots. Get on base. Cause some havoc against the young Garrett Cole.
A low strike to Neil Walker. He really had the decisive blow. The Royals kept chasing the Pirates down. As Pirates would score, the Royals would come back and they would score. And the Royals made it a one-run game, 8-7. But in the top of the 8th inning, Neil Walker hit that 2-run triple to make it 10-7, and that was the final score. Vargas, 3 pitches to Walker and strikes him out.
Well, I think we can go on last night's game and not get too excited about the first inning results. Giordano Ventura looked unhittable in that top of the first inning here. Vargas, same thing. The key, getting ahead. Getting ahead and executing pitches like that. And Vargas is not the kind of rookie or a young pitcher that has to have 3 or 4 rehab stints. He's trustworthy. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. He's a veteran with good command, good poise, good quick tempo. And he's going to give the right-handers fits, you hope.
Andrew McCutchen had 2 hits and an RBI last night. And when he's missing, which isn't very often, he is just barely missing. 1-1.
Exactly what they train him to do. Now the lefties, it's interesting, hitting a little higher average. Usually it's the righties that do most of the damage, and of course the power side, as most managers stack their lineups with righties. And that changeup right there, Vargas, you could see he didn't like that. He got up underneath it and left it up. If the changeup or fastballs are up, they can do damage.
Hit well into the left field corner. Dyson is going to have to play it off the wall, but it's foul.
Just barely. Alex Gordon has set such a high standard for left field play, and not just on the Royals, but in all of Major League Baseball. That Gerard Dyson, I like him and his aggressiveness going after the catch. He wants to make the play. But he's going to have to learn that corner down there a little bit more and back off when he feels like he can't get that, so he can play the carom a little bit better. It's going to take him a little time. But I love his aggressiveness. He's trying to make the play.
Full count to McCutchen.
Hard heat, fastballs in like he missed early in the count with McCutchen, and then change-ups away. That's the pattern for Vargas.
Going to try and put him away with a changeup. And he had him reaching. Out to Escobar. In time. Welcome back, Jason Vargas. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the first. And needing just 10 pitches to get through the Pirates.
Just like Ventura last night.
Bottom of the first inning, the Royals losing last night, dropped a half game in the Central. Minnesota was idle, so the lead is 5.5. The Royals still possess the best record in the league at 19 games above 500. And while it was a loss, it was an exciting night on offense. Royals facing Pirates righty A.J. Burnett, who had a very low ERA, 2.11. The Royals got him for 6 runs, 11 hits in 6 innings. And they're going to face a tough pitcher tonight, 24-year-old Garrett Cole, who was the first overall pick in the draft in 2011 out of UCLA, going for his 14th win tonight.
He's got extreme focus and he's got the weapons, and he's looking to become the first Pirate with 14 wins before August since Doc Ellis was 15-4 back in 1971. So he's doing some things that haven't been done in Pittsburgh very often. Hard fastball, average 95. He'll top 98. Slider, curve, occasional changeups, but mainly fastball, slider. And he's got a good downhill angle. It reminds me a little bit of Ventura with his freedom and how easy it looks coming out of his hand. Good explosive fastball.
And Ventura, or rather Escobar, continuing a trend of swinging at the first good pitch that he sees.
Okay, and speaking of Ventura, very similar. He doesn't have a big windup. He doesn't have to use a lot of legs and arms.
Drilled to left field. Marte is right there, so tough hitting luck for Escobar. Here are the Pirates defensively, and you think about this team. Fast team, athletic team, good defense, and yet in defensive runs saved, the Pirates are -3, but there are a lot of playmakers out there.
There are, but you know, you look at those guys, they have speed, a lot of speed out there. Now their ballpark is not quite as spacious as the K, but you wonder why they haven't saved more runs.
Fastball at 95 to Mike Moustakas. He hit his 9th home run last night. He was on base 4 times. He was hit by a pitch twice.
The Royals offense, they don't look at the numbers of the pitcher very often. They don't let that get in their head. Skids 13-3 with a 2.30. They don't look at that. They're looking for fastballs out over the plate, just like they would against anybody else. They fear no one, and that's the sign of a championship caliber team.
Shallow left center field. Here comes Marte again, and they're 2 down. Lorenzo Cain comes to the plate, and as you enjoy a cold one, we invite you to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Lorenzo stretched his hitting streak to 9 games with a 7th inning single last night, but it was his at bat in the 8th inning that was most heart-stopping of all, when he jumped on a first pitch fastball from Tony Watson in a 3-run game with 2 on and 2 out, and just missed, tying the game with a home run.
And you know, just because you have never faced a certain pitcher before, in the case of the Royals facing Cole, you know, it doesn't matter. You'd like to take more pitches, but that's hard to tell the Royals this. Lorenzo, during his 9-game hitting streak, is raking. Look at that. So they're going to just take it as they come. The more pitches you see, the better chance you go back to the dugout and have more to share.
No swing. Tony Randazzo is the first base umpire.
And for hitters, they have a video room in every dugout that you can go down and look at film. But you know, the best place to be is right up there on the front step and watching what he's trying to do to your opponents. I mean, to your teammates.
Cole is mostly, and it's rare these days for a starter, but he is mostly a 2-pitch pitcher, and we showed you his 4-pitch arsenal, but he is almost primarily fastball slider. And there's the hard slider, down and away.
and he's going to throw it out there because he knows how aggressive the Royals offense is. And so they didn't swing. You don't swing at it, then he can't, milk him, get a few walks. Don't give in to him.
So 90% of the time he is either fastball, slider, and a slider gets Kane. So a good start for Vargas and Garrett Cole.
Whew. Could be low scoring tonight.
Well, there's a good candidate for our strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KC Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. That's hashtag KC Data Strong Fan. Both pitchers 3 up, 3 down in the first inning. Starling Marte leads off for the Pirates, and that ball's hit deep into the left field corner, and it stays in, or it did not. It hit the top of the corner and then bounced into the Royals dugout, and Vargas is stunned, and I don't know if I've ever seen that.
That's a homer.
Hitting the fence in one area and going over the fence in another area.
Well, and the reason why there's a little confusion here is because not too many on the field have seen that either. Now, this ball was down and over the middle, but he was hunting it, and it looked like a changeup. Hits the padding and went over the fence. It's a homer.
I guess I don't know what the argument would be here. I mean,
they want to talk about it.
Take a look at it.
Why not? I mean, this is so unusual that you never know. I mean, typically, if the ones we see, they hit the top of the fence and they go over, but to hit one on the side like that, I don't know.
The metal railing above the padded wall in both corners is part of the wall. The ball has to go over the metal railing. So it hit the top of the wall, looked like it shot straight up in the air, and while in the air went over the fence. And then you could see Phil Cuzzi, the third base umpire, calling it a home run.
This will be a crew chief review, so Ned won't use one of his challenges.
Is he thinking that maybe a fan touched it? Did it hit if it hits a fan's hand? But
see something every single game in baseball that you haven't seen before.
So at the moment, it's Marte's 14th home run of the year, and the Pirates lead 1-0. I don't know. I mean, I guess if the railing is considered the top of the wall, the ball then did not hit the top of the wall.
That was
and went over for a home run.
It's 2 feet short. Maybe 3.
I have to say, I don't know how that would be classified, because the only time I've ever seen, as you said, Hud, a ball hit the wall and go over, it's always the top of the wall. And the momentum of the ball makes it go over. But to hit something lower than the top of the wall and still go over.
Well, sometimes it's a fielder's glove. We saw Canseco's head, remember? He hit the top of his head and went over. It was a homer. Very interesting early in the game.
And I'm assuming that the umpire who is making this call back in New York, as well as Jerry Davis, the crew chief on the right, Phil Cuzzy on the left, they're probably thinking to themselves, I've never seen this before. Somebody might be flipping through a rule book back in New York.
In the meantime, Vargas, cool, calm, and collected, standing right out there, and he's telling himself, look, so what? It's 1-0. Let's get on with the game. If they take it away and give him a double, it's a bonus. Take it. But that's how quickly you have to be able to turn the page in this game, mentally. All that waiting. Two bases. I just saw Jerry Davis say 2 bases. Good lip reader.
Well, I'm looking forward to that email from New York. And I can imagine what Clint Hurdle is thinking. He just wants some clarification here.
Yeah, Clint's not going to wait for the email. He wants some instant clarification. Marte 18th double. This is a doubles hitting team like the Royals. Clint doesn't like it, but hang with him.
Well, Marte can have a beef with third base umpire Phil Cuzzy because he ruled home run. He tried to give Marte a home run. So it hits the top corner of the padded portion of the wall, or maybe even the concrete behind it. But the fact that it didn't go directly over the wall, stay tuned.
Way to go, Vargy. Luck's going good for him.
A strike to Jung Ho Gung, playing at shortstop for the Pirates with the injury to Jordy Mercer. He has a 7-game hitting streak.
At the top of that padding right there. 2 feet shy of a real homer.
0-2.
Pirates hitting .251 against lefties. 15 homers and a 10-6 record against southpaws. So they're not exactly ripping the cover off the ball against lefties. Vargas getting ahead. Executes his pitches when he really has to with a runner in scoring position.
Slow breaking ball strikes him out, or did he get a piece of it? Just nicked it. Crowd reacted, the scoreboard reacted, going to a brand new count. Home plate umpire Jerry Davis said there was some contact.
Hard to tell even when it's super slow motion. Imagine how tough a job it is to umpire and call strikes and balls off that plate. You see the padding on Gung. You see that elbow pad? Rhino, remember when they first started wearing elbow pads, how beefy and padded they really were, and you had to unstrap them?
Like a hockey elbow pad.
Yeah, now what everybody wears is it's almost like a little soccer shin guard.
Off speed, and more off speed. And Vargas gets Gung for out number 1 in the second inning.
Look at that. When you're looking for the fastball, that pitch is so tough because it's less velocity, same arm speed as the fastball. And like I mentioned, good pitchers have a knack to execute their pitches when runners get in scoring position, and Vargas is no different. Hitters are just 2 for 20 this year in his last 6 starts with runners in scoring position.
So no advance of Marte, and now Pedro Alvarez. He drove in 2 runs for the Pirates last night. Now that's a fan. Is there a Royals version of that shirt?
I don't know, but I like it. Have you had a chance to watch any highlights from the Pittsburgh games, or their home games at all, or watched any games? They look like the K here. Packed in Pittsburgh. Energetic. They're a lot like the Royals. A new team. They want to be like the Royals and get all that popularity that the Royals gained last season and are gaining this year.
1-1 to Alvarez.
Alvarez scuffling. That's a good looking pitch right there. That's the lower part of the zone. Scuffling against lefties. He's hitting 179.
One ball, 2 strikes. And when you're thinking change up, slow curveball, that fastball at 86 from Vargas, I'm sure seems much faster than that.
It's another guy who's been able to make a living, and a good living, being a finesse pitcher and not having the ability to blow it by guys in the strike zone, but they're so deceptive with their change of speeds and locating that makes them good.
And a good match for an aggressive swinging team like the Pirates. We told you last night a lot of similarities to the Royals. They don't walk very much. So Vargas against the Pirates could be similar to John Danks against the Royals during this past weekend, feeding off that aggressiveness. Runner going to third, and without a throw, Starling Marte essentially picks up Gung for not advancing him. He gets to third base with 1 out.
Salvi gets a grip on him. He's got him. He didn't have that spectacular takeoff, and with no batter in front of him there, Salvi was too easy, and he just missed the transfer.
And the Royals will bring the infield in with 1 out in the second inning. Alvarez will walk and put runners at the corners.
Salvador Perez, he's thrown out his last 3 would-be base stealers, giving him 16 runners caught stealing this year, tying him for 3rd in the American League. And there's no doubt in my mind he would have gunned him down. Just couldn't get the grip on it.
This is Brent Morel. You might remember him with the Chicago White Sox. White Sox have been talking about him for many years to eventually replace Joe Creedy at third base, which he did, but it didn't last very long. Vargas misses outside, ball 1, and Morel was just called up when the Pirates put their shortstop Jordy Mercer on the disabled list yesterday. And Brent Morel making his Pirates debut tonight. Has Marte at third, Alvarez at first with 1 out.
Injuries are very difficult to handle, especially when they're some of your more prominent players, but it presents opportunities for others to step up and get noticed, and Morel getting a chance here. But what's impressive is Vargas in 41 2/3 innings has induced 6 double plays. That's a lot of ground balls.
His changeup is on tonight. 2 balls and 1 strike. always a good defensive third baseman. Bat just never came around for the White Sox, and just showed you his career numbers. .256 hitter. And that changeup got away from him.
Something's wrong. I could tell a pitch before he didn't look comfortable. There was something going on in the pitch before. He rushed back up off the mound, and he didn't look like he normally does. After that last pitch, the previous pitch before that one, the changeup he threw, he looked uncomfortable. He didn't look right. He definitely is not going to be able to continue in this one. That's for sure. That's too bad.
All right, here's 2 pitches ago. Here's the one you're talking about, Hud.
Okay, he looked differently. He always comes off the mound and looks for the ball. Right after he makes his pitch, he comes walking up on the grass, and when he threw that pitch,
which was a great pitch, by the way.
Yeah, see how he did? See how he turned and look at him? He shrugged his shoulders right there, and he looked in the dugout, and he's looking at his left arm. Okay, watch him again. See how he never does that. He never turns his body towards the opposing dugout. And then the one that reconfirmed the pain, and he was looking at his arm.
Now we don't know what it is, and yet we must point out again that Vargas just came off the disabled list tonight for the 2nd time this year with the same injury, a strain to his left flexor. So a Chevy call to the bullpen, and Joe Blanton will get all the time he needs to get ready to finish off this inning. Gave up a leadoff double in the 2nd inning, and then had another strikeout, and it just made a very good pitch on a changeup to Brent Morrell, his 4th batter in this inning, and he comes out with an injury. So Joe Blanton, who was the Royals closer for a day the last time he took the mound, that was on Sunday in Chicago. He picked up his first major league save. And essentially this will be a start for him, coming on with 1 out in the 2nd inning.
You know, I just finished talking about injuries and how you never know when they're going to come up, but what it does, it presents opportunities. So here's an opportunity for Blanton, and when a player comes in for another player when he gets injured, you don't have all day to think about your start. Okay, this is something. His heart probably started beating a little bit when they saw Ned go out to check on Vargas. But then when he gets the call and says you're in, all right, I'll take the ball and go, and you don't have a lot of time to think about it, get all worried about your performance. He's in, he's going to get a chance to keep that ball down and impress Ned. He's got a good opportunity here.
And being around for a while, he knows when he's ready. I always wondered, in a situation like this, you know, we say, and it's true, that a pitcher gets all the time he needs to get ready, and yet you've got over 35,000 people just watching you warm up, wanting the inning to continue. Let's go. I often wonder if a pitcher doesn't cut himself a few pitches short, feeling like, you know, he's got to speed up his preparation. But Blanton knows he has made 278 major league appearances, so he knows when he's ready.
That's right. And Jeff Branson, the hitting coach, you saw him for the Pirates talking to Sean Rodriguez, who'll be coming up maybe in this inning. Showed him the book. Everyone has a book on what the guy's got. Blanton, fastball, curveball, changeup, little two-seamer. He'll sink it. He'll try to get ground balls. And so you know what the guy's got, and most pitchers all have the same pitches, but until you get in that batter's box and see what that guy's got that night, it's almost useless information. Just when he pitched against the Rangers, see that action going down, that's exactly what he wants.
So he comes on with runners at first and third and one out. The count is 3-1. So if Blanton walks Morel, the walk will be charged to Vargas. Anything else will go on Blanton's line. And now 3-2 on Morel. The Texas game we were showing you was Yordano Ventura went only 3 innings against the Rangers, and Blanton had to come in and essentially make a start, a very long relief appearance, and went 3 1/3 innings and struck out 4 against Texas.
Roll him up.
Or get a strikeout. 2 down.
That wasn't what Morel was expecting. He was expecting a heater, and it fooled him. Good pitch, and nice block by Salvi.
Now Chris Stewart comes to the plate. He came into the game when Francisco Cervelli went down with a sore right wrist. Our University of Kansas hospital injury report. Not on the lineup tonight, and that's not because of the wrist, as Stewart is Garrett Cole's personal catcher, so he would have been in there anyway. But Cervelli, and we thought that he looked uncomfortable for an inning or so, just didn't look right behind the plate, and then right in the middle of the inning, Glenn Hurdle came out and made the change, and Stewart finished the game behind the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Blanton knows what to do with that defense behind it. Keep the ball down, just like that pitch there, and if it's out over the middle of the plate, it's going to get hit, but you keep it down, chances are they hit it to one of your brilliant defenders behind you. There's a chance to get out of this long inning.
Fooled him badly with that pitch. Didn't even get a full swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And when you have a catcher like Salvi, you're not afraid with a runner at third to execute your pitch in the dirt. You throw it with conviction. Tell you what, Salvi, you see that gold Rawlings badge on his chest there. That's because he's the best in the American League.
Alvarez runs. And Stewart just got a piece of the ball, and the ball got a piece of Salvador Perez.
Yeah, it did.
Right off of his right pinky.
They try to teach you to keep that right hand that's just sitting there away, but sometimes they'd like to teach you to put it behind your thigh, right behind your shin guards there, and that's why.
I'll bet you $1 that hand will be behind his shin guard this time.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet because I know he probably will do that. Let's see. And I'm not a betting guy anyway, but nope.
No, wow.
Yeah.
Runner going again, and Alvarez will get a stolen base. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Stewart. That's the second stolen base of the inning. Marte had stolen third after his leadoff double, and now Alvarez steals second.
Second bag of the year for him. Leave those guys stranded. That's exactly what Blanton wants to do.
Wanted to pitch him inside and missed. 3-2. Sean Rodriguez is on deck.
Coming to a stressful inning like this and to do what he's done so far, pretty good. Closing in on 24 minutes for the top half. The review of the home run, it wasn't. That took about 3-4 minutes.
But worth the wait. As the home run did not count, it turned into a double, and Joe Blanton comes out of the bullpen and strands 3 Pirates to make it a scoreless top of the second.
Curveball looking good.
No score to the bottom of the second inning. Looks like another sellout here tonight for game 2 at the Pirates. Well, if you have a classic car that you want to show off, come out to Kauffman Stadium on Sunday, August 16th for our Cruise to the K Classic Car Show and Exhibit. Beginning at 8 a.m., cars will be on display throughout the day in the Royals parking lot. The $35 ticket package will include 1 vehicle entered into the car show, 2 game tickets, a dash plaque, and a commemorative t-shirt. Plus, compete for a chance to see your classic car parade around the warning track during pre-game ceremonies.
I like that. Are you a car guy? Can you fix anything on your car? Because I sure can.
No.
But I like looking at them.
Eric Hosmer, Kendrys Morales, and Salvador Perez against Garrett Cole, who got the Royals in order in the first inning with a strikeout. Eric Hosmer had a second consecutive 3-hit game last night. He had 3 hits in the game against Chris Sale and the White Sox on Sunday. 3 hits again last night, which included 2 runs scored and an RBI, and also reached with a walk. There's that hard slider, and Cole will change the tilt and the speed on that slider, so it doesn't look the same every time it comes out of his hand.
That's what makes him different than other 24-year-olds. He's mature. He understands his art, his craft. He can change speeds on those pitches and show different angles. Makes it more difficult to figure out.
More hits, more extra base hits for Hosmer over his last 10 compared to the 10 before that. 96 miles an hour, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Hosmer's 3 hits last night were all with 2 outs. So he's actually getting a chance to lead off an inning here.
That is a second strikeout for Garrett Cole. 1 down in the second.
There's the changeup. And you know, you mentioned he doesn't use the curve and change that often, Rhino, but he will go to it second and third time through, but he didn't even mess around. He threw it to Hosmer right away. Good pitch, 88.
And now Kendrys Morales, our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. Kendrys Morales, 65 RBIs to lead the league. Added to that total last night with 3. He hit a 2-run home run off of A.J. Burnett off the right field foul pole, and then also drove in a run with a ground out. It is a pitcher-friendly strike zone so far, presented by crew chief Jerry Davis. Still 0-2.
Foul pole, fair pole. Last night I've caught myself calling it a fair pole because he hit the home run off the pole, so it was fair. But I always say foul pole. Always have.
That's great, Hud.
Well, you know, it's interesting how. Why is it a foul pole when it's in fair territory?
I don't know. Why do you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway?
Well,
still 1-2. There's A.J. Burnett. Ended up with his 8th win last night, tying his total from last year, but he gave up 6 runs and 11 hits in 6 innings. And the Royals hit 2 home runs against him. 97 with that fastball, and now Cole has struck out 3 in a row going back to the first inning.
well, he's taking his time and executing his pitches, and obviously that 4-seam fastball is his main weapon. So he can get it up there around 98 miles an hour. But when you have command with a slider and then occasional changeups, it just and you're locating those pitches. Could be a long night. You hope some way you can get his pitch count up and get in their bullpen, and their bullpen has been good too.
Salvador Perez had 2 hits last night, also a line out to the outfield. Did he get it? Deep left field. Not quite. Marte makes a play on the track. 6 up, 6 down against the Pirates' Garrett Cole.
Picks in the 2008 baseball draft: Eric Hosmer and Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez second, Hosmer third. They played similar amount of games. Hosmer has the higher on-base plus slugging and the higher wins above replacement in his career. First overall pick in that draft was Tim Beckham. Talking to Hosmer guys today about it. Now, Hos came out of high school, and in the case of Alvarez, he was drafted out of Vanderbilt. But he said they were always linked together. Two guys that swung left-handed, two guys that had the same agent, Scott Boras, two guys that have been linked together during arbitration. Mike Moustakas, that ball just foul there. And so there's always been some kind of link. Their numbers are very similar. And by the way, that same draft, Jake Odorizzi taken by Milwaukee in the first round, Mike Montgomery to the Royals, and Garrett Cole was selected with the 28th pick by the New York Yankees. Gave up a lot of money to go to UCLA. Here he is now with the Pirates.
One big difference between those two guys is defense. Eric Hosmer is one of the best, if not the best, at his position. And the Pirates, a National League team, are trying to find a position for Pedro Alvarez.
Well, it helps that you can hit. If you can hit, they're going to find a place for you. And, you know, speaking of defense, when Blanton made his Royals debut against the Yankees, we saw some plays that he's never even seen before. Watch this.
That was like the play in Chicago the other day, a little different version of it.
And there was two more while Blanton was in there. Good pitch. Let's show you the two other plays against the Yankees. This is just in a short little time, but I think it was in only one inning here. Oh, look at that one. Bounced off of Hosmer to Infante. All for Blanton in his debut. El Mago. Yeah, that's a cap tipper. So Blanton walked off the mound shaking his head saying, wow, man, I'm going to have that playing behind me. I'm going to pitch to contact.
Second time through for the Pirates. Here's their leadoff man, Gregory Polanco. He swung at Jason Vargas' first pitch and popped to short. Vargas, by the way, no word from the Royals clubhouse, but was removed in the middle of a matchup with Brent Morrell in the top of the second inning. So we will pass on any information as soon as it's available. We will also pass along information in regard to the call that was overturned in that same inning. Starling Marte hit a ball that was ruled on the field as a home run. The Royals asked for review, and it was overturned. And overturned to a two-base hit. The word out of New York so far, no comment.
They're studying that one. They're making sure they get the right words on the email.
And even before this half inning started, Clint Hurdle came back out to talk with Jerry Davis. And of course, it's not his call. He's just taking directions from New York on the headset. But I think he went back out there again and said, now, what was the problem? How about Joe Blanton? That is 4 straight strikeouts since taking over for Vargas last inning.
Can you believe it? That slider's working good, and he's setting him up with a two-seam sinker. Hadn't thrown too many changeups. Nice job working down the zone.
So an inning and a third and all strikeouts. 2 down to Neil Walker. He struck out against Vargas. And that ball is going to get away from Infante and roll out into shallow right. And Walker took a wide turn thinking about second, but Rios comes up to get it. An error on Infante.
9th on the season. Routine play here. Just pulled up the glove a little bit before. Ball kind of stayed down. Didn't come up like he thought it would. Infante, he makes those plays coming in, moving very well. Sometimes on a routine ball like that, you might just want to break it down. Just make sure that it happens.
Andrew McCutchen grounded out to short in the first inning. Crack bat. Infante gets another chance. And the force on Walker ends the top of the third inning. Sykes has done monumental work with the justice system, specifically in the area of unsolved civil rights crimes, educating himself in law and civil rights. The Kansas City native helped seek justice in the Emmett Till and musician Steve Harvey murders and received national and international recognition for his work. He has created the Emmett Till Justice Campaign, sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game.
Congratulations, Alvin. Thank you for what you do.
Garrett Cole has retired the first 6 Royals, so it's Infante, Rios, and Dyson in the bottom of the third. Cole has struck out 3. Vargas and Blanton have combined to strike out 6 already. Young, the Pirates shortstop, takes care of Infante, so 7 straight retired by Garrett Cole. Final game with the Pirates is tomorrow. It's our next student night and local music showcase presented by Inc. Magazine. You can mingle with friends and enjoy food and drink specials exclusively for students in the outfield experience while listening to live music from local Kansas City bands. Tomorrow, music from Tall Tales. And get your $8 tickets here at the box office or at Royals.com/student night. A lot of borderline strikes going the pitcher's way, both sides tonight. Last night it was the opposite. We thought Phil Cuzzy's strike zone was a little tight. 1-1 from Cole to Alex Rios. 1 for 4 last night with a run scored and a steal of home. It was not a straight steal of home. Gerard Dyson had gotten into a rundown in between first and second. Then Rios came down from third for the stolen base. Drilled to center field. McCutchen fades back, still back, and it sails over his head. Rios will check in at second base with a double.
He squared that ball up a lot better than McCutchen thought he did. That's a tough read. Hardest for a center fielder to judge. A ball hit like that directly over your head is the most difficult. Now you can't really tell if he barreled it like that. Beautiful swing. He caught it just nice. And he lifted it. He didn't roll over. He stayed up the middle with that stroke, and that fooled McCutchen. He couldn't get back on it in time. Don't know how many opportunities you'll get a runner in scoring position. You gotta scratch and claw and do all you can. Get the run home off of this guy. He looks pretty strong. Cole.
96 and high to Gerard Dyson. He had 2 stolen bases last night, finished 1 for 3, and was hit by a pitch. His infield single put an end to an 0 for 10. Pirates have the corners way in on Dyson. 1-1.
I believe they'll be trying to get that high fastball in on Dyson, and that way he doesn't have a lot of power, although he's got some pop, but they don't want him hitting the ball on the ground and chopping it somewhere in the hole. So they're going to try to get him the fastballs up. It's not that one there.
And blocked by Stewart keeps Rios at second base. Cole has 5 wild pitches, most of any Pirates pitcher. So are we. So are we. Little bit tight. 3-1.
Dyson seeing some pitches his first time he's seen Cole. This is a good thing. More pitches you see, the better off you got. Better chance.
Now we'll get Rios over to third with 2 down as Dyson is thrown out by Walker. And that'll bring up one of the Royals' hottest hitters at the moment. Now Cetus Escobar 0 for 1 tonight, but he lined to left against Cole in the first inning. Hitting just under 400 in his last 16 games, and right around 360 in his last 32 games. So this has been going on for a while.
Garrett Cole has 5 wild pitches. That leads his staff. So watch for a bouncer. Something bouncing in the dirt. Morel, the third baseman, he's in on the grass and want Escobar to get a bunt on him. Now he's moving back.
Out to Gung. So the 1-out double by Rios. He gets to third, but does not come to the plate. 3 scoreless for Garrett Cole. 3 scoreless combined by Vargas and Blanton. There's an old friend, George Toma. Royals Hall of Famer George Toma. Came to Kansas City in 1957 as head groundskeeper for the Kansas City A's and was the Royals head groundskeeper from 1969 through 1995. He was in the Royals dugout during batting practice today with his grandson, and George, as he put it, said, "Lord willing, I will be a consultant for my 50th Super Bowl." Wow. Coming up next year. Maybe well, he's the most heralded, that's for sure, but also most likely the best groundskeeper in the history of sports, George Toma. Oh, 0-2 on Starling Marte. He hit that double leading off the second inning, which was first ruled a home run. The Royals got Jerry Davis to put the headsets on for a crew chief review, and it was overturned from a home run to a double, and we are still waiting for explanation. So is that guy. He wants to know why the Pirates aren't leading right now 1-0. 1-2.
The previous pitch before that looked like Marte didn't see it. He kind of checked his swing and hit a little foul ball, but they're not picking up Blanton very well. Obviously, with the success he's having with his sinker slider combination or curveball, whatever you want to call that pitch, it's maybe a little bit of a slur. And that was a curve. It had good downward break to it. Have you ever had the opportunity to have George Toma in the booth up here? He'd be very interesting to talk to.
Probably.
I had a chance to talk to him earlier today. His stories are amazing.
Moustakis, and he needed to make a good play. Marte runs well. 1 down.
Well, that wasn't easy. Again, looked like he was fooled. He didn't take a full swing. Moose coming in, throwing off on the run. Perfect.
And now Jung Ho Gung off the end of the bat, but into center field for a 1-out hit. Gung had 2 hits and 2 runs scored last night. Covering the bases with Rusty Kuntz and the Commandos from Topeka, a 12 and under team. We're out at the Little K. Rusty hosting them along with Dusty Coleman. And on the mound there is Miguel Garcia, one of the Royals' batting practice pitchers.
You know, he's teaching them right there, the base runners, to get in line when you get picked off. Get in that throwing lane of the first baseman. Those are little things that go a long way in baseball. Rusty Kuntz is one of the best. And infield, base running, outfield, he knows everything. Way to go, Commandos. Congratulations.
Two 2-0 to Pedro Alvarez. He walked and stole a base in the second inning. Mike Moustakas will shift from the left side over to the right side, figuring that Alvarez will not bunt in a hitter's count. He has 12 home runs. A couple of years ago, Pedro Alvarez tied for the National League lead with 36 home runs.
You know, Joel was talking about Alvarez and a little bit earlier in Cole, and had a chance to read up on Alvarez a little bit. Interesting how the Red Sox chose him out of high school, and he's from the Bronx, New York. And he turned down $775,000. because his dad wanted him to go to Vanderbilt. And a lot of the family and friends, and they lived in a little two-bedroom apartment, and his dad drove a taxi, and they were wondering how could he turn that money down, and which is, you know, understandable. But his dad really said, hey, look, I want you to go to college and get an education and do what you can. End up paying off big time. He signed a 4-year, $6.5 million contract. Good for him and good for his dad's advice.
Slow curve. Alvarez tried to stay back for it, but he strikes out, and that is 5 for Joe Blanton.
He's getting an exceptional break on that slider. It's finishing off down low, right where you want it. Great execution.
And now Brent Morel. Morel struck out against Blanton in the second inning, and Blanton had to come in the middle of the at-bat after Jason Vargas left with an injury. Vargas an inning and a third tonight after coming back from the disabled list for the second time this year.
So the Pirates prepare for a lefty Vargas. And then all of a sudden he gets hurt, and you bring in Joe Blanton. And they didn't have a lot of time to think about Blanton or study up on him.
Salvador Perez still throws out Kung, who had the greatest jump, I'm sure, of any Pirate this year. A good read on Joe Blanton. He was 3 steps into it before Blanton even delivered the pitch, and Perez still gunned him down.
Jung Ho Gung got gunned.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Thoroughbred Ford. For great deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. Big crowd here tonight. No score to the bottom of the 4th inning. And we welcome in Jeff Montgomery. HUD just made the point, as the Pirates have struggled against Joe Blanton in today's game. There was so much information and so much video. The mindset for so long for the Pirates was lefty Jason Vargas, changeup pitcher Jason Vargas, and then in a flash they got right-hand sinker curveball pitcher Joe Blanton.
Yeah, it has not been the pitcher's duel that we were expecting, with unfortunately Jason Vargas having to leave, but gosh, Blanton coming in and really going toe-to-toe here with Cole.
Mike Moustakas flied to left in the first inning. Cole's about as smooth as they come, isn't he? Looks almost looks like a position player out there, just playing catch with Stewart.
Yeah, he throws very easy, mid to upper 90s. Easy.
Good life on his slider.
One of the first things I notice about a guy when I watch him pitch from up here in the booth is you can watch them with the naked eye and tell there's a difference in the way the ball comes out of his hand. He's something special, and that's what I noticed the first few pitches that Cole threw tonight.
That was pulled foul into a sea of fans into the right field corner.
Cole has given up 7 home runs, 4 to right-handed bats and 3 to left-handed bats.
Three balls, 2 strikes. I asked you during commercial, Monty, and you said you couldn't remember doing it yourself, but I know you've been out in the bullpen many times when you guys are sitting around, everything's pretty leisurely, and you figured you're not going to be involved for several innings, and then all of a sudden a guy goes down and somebody has to get into game mode right now. And the game is just sitting around and waiting for that guy to get ready.
Yeah, it's tough, and I think you have to kind of be on a hold, be ready to go when you are sitting on that bullpen, because you never know. And most guys have a pretty well-defined role. You kind of understand if you're going to pitch early in the game, if you got the middle innings, you got the 7th or 8th inning, whatever you're going to be doing, and you kind of gear up for that. But when you're starting pitchers out there early in the game and you don't expect it to happen, you better hope, one, you're there and when the phone rings to be able to go. And the next thing is just finding a way to get prepared and get your A game on.
4th strikeout for Garrett Cole. And I guess even if you're a long reliever, and like you said, you're in that span of innings where you know it's an option for you to come into the game, most of the time you can feel it coming, right? The starter's getting knocked around, and you think, okay, he doesn't have it tonight, I better start thinking mentally. But Vargas looked fine, and then there's that pitch, he's gone, and Joe Blanton knew. I remember looking at the bullpen, and he quickly got off the bench and he was stretching his legs real fast because he knew he was the guy.
You know, and it's similar for a bench player too. Whenever a guy goes down and gets hurt, everybody starts looking at you, and they're going, "Okay, you're the next guy." So you don't have time to think. You just say, "Okay, I'm in," and next thing you know, you're in a big league game.
Yep.
So I think there's an advantage to that. Lots of times you don't have to let your nerves get to you or anything like that. And you're just saying, "All right, let's go play ball."
Exactly. Don't worry about it. Don't think too much. Just go get them.
Yeah, and Blanton was probably as surprised as anybody when he got the call.
One and 2 on Kane.
Another thing I like about Cole is he doesn't waste any time. He gets a ball, he's ready to go. He has that tremendous air of confidence around him.
And talking to members of the Pirates organization tonight, he's got an edge to him. For his age, he already kind of has that veteran presence, not afraid to pitch inside, not afraid to defend a teammate. Here he's trying to pitch inside to Kane. No swing, and the count from 0-2 to 3-2.
They're making him work. Moose saw 8 pitches in his previous plate appearance before Kane. That pitch count up.
Still 3-2. double clutching and then throws over to Rodriguez to get Kane. We're watching the game and also listening to Mike Swanson, Royals Vice President of Communications, who was sharing news from New York on that ball hit by Marte in the left field corner. The replay official determined that the ball struck below the top of the outfield wall and bounded over another wall. I guess I didn't realize that the wall could be segmented into different sections, but that's the way it was determined. It hit below the bottom of one wall and went over another wall. So it's a ground rule double. And it says, had the ball struck the top of the outfield wall and bounded over, it would have been ruled a home run. I must admit, I've gone through the rule book several times, usually read it once a year just to make sure I'm up to speed as best as I can be, especially if there are changes. But I don't ever reading about a ball hitting one wall and going over another wall and being a ground rule double. Eric Hosmer will take an aggressive turn and he will try for second. He is out. And that's the second time in 2 games that Starling Marte has thrown out a Royal, trying to stretch a single into a double.
He's got a great throwing arm. 2 outs, not a bad decision.
No score to the 5th inning. Remember, you can own a piece of last year's postseason as the Royals and Jostens have teamed up to provide the only officially licensed American League Championship fan collection. Fan rings, necklaces, cufflinks, key rings, and more. Royals.com/fan rings. Brent Morrell was at the plate when Jung Ho Gung was caught stealing. So he will lead off the 5th, followed by Chris Stewart and Sean Rodriguez. Pirates 2 hits, Royals 2 hits through the first 4 innings. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ned Yost before the game gave 2 reasons why Yordano Ventura was sent down. Number 1, to get some work. Number 2, since Chris Medlin pitched last night, the Royals were without a long man. And so they needed to stay protected just in case. And that's why Joe Blanton was not part of that roster move. I don't think Ned was planning on Blanton coming in the 2nd inning, but he's pitched very well, and he gets a ground ball to Moustakas. And there's 1 down in the 5th. Let's go to Joel.
And before the game was telling you that today, on this date, 1978, Paul Splittorff had his 100th career win, a shutout. On that day, in that same game, Clint Hurdle went 3 for 3 with 6 RBI. So I walked into his office today, said, Clint, this is a special day. He was unaware of the day, and I said, you had 6 RBI on this date. And he said, oh, I remember that one. I hit a 3-run homer, and I know I had a sac fly. I can't remember the rest. I know I went 3 for 3. He was pretty right, and immediately he said Dennis Eckersley was on the mound for the Red Sox facing us that day, and he indeed was right on that one. In that game, in the second inning, Amos Otis and Darrell Porter got on. Clint Hurdle hit the first 3-run home run of his career, would go on to sac fly and knock in Willie Wilson, had a couple of other hits to knock in some runs. Oh, by the way, he was 9 days from his 21st birthday. He also said that Paul Splittorff, a great mentor to his, along with guys like John Wathan and Amos Otis and Hal McRae, and of course George Brett, saying that those are the guys, including Split, that taught me the right way to do things and what not to do.
20 years old. Wow, that's a great week for me, Monty. 6 ribbies, 1 game,
especially for 20.
Oh, I can't believe it. It's pretty good feat.
Two and 2 on Chris Stewart. Blanton struck him out in the second inning. Paul Splittorff would go on to win 166 games as a Royal, which is the team record. Poked out into right center field, and the ball skips on Kane. Stewart doesn't run all that well. He took an aggressive turn around first, and he'll hold with a 1-out single.
Monty, Blanton's having a lot of success tonight with his breaking ball, and in some it looks like he's got a good downward curveball, but then other ones he looks like he's throwing some sliders. But what would you call that, a slur?
Well, he'll throw both. He actually has a curveball and a slider. Probably more of the slider to the righties and the curveball to the lefties. That's usually the mix for a right-hander that you'd go with.
This is Sean Rodriguez. That'll be out of play. He is at first base tonight. He has played 7 different positions in the big leagues. That started when he was with the Rays, and his manager there, Joe Madden, has a reputation of finding players that can play all over the field. So Sean Rodriguez, a third baseman one night, first baseman the next night. I don't think the Royals are going to miss Travis Ishikawa tonight, who drove in 4 of the Pirates' 10 runs last night.
Yeah, he wasn't in there against the lefty Vargas, but you may see him later. Rodriguez making his 58th appearance at first base, so he's had a lot of action over there.
Just over our heads. We remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. There's this past week's American League Player of the Week, co-player of the week, sharing it with the Astros' Dallas Keuchel. Moustakas dives from a knee. They get the out at second. Double play. Sensational.
You gotta be kidding me. That was fantastic. Moustakas is able to get to his feet quickly, throw a dart from his knees, and Infante with thief-like hands, quick, was able to turn it. Hurdle might want to take a peek at this one, but boy, was it beautiful. If you're Blanton, you're saying, wow. Watch Moose from his knees give a strong sidearm throw. Infante just transfer was quick, but I don't know by looking at that one.
Well, still a good out at second base, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yep, I think that's going to be overturned rather quickly, but still keeping the ball out of the outfield, getting the lead man at second. So it looks like in a moment we'll have 2 down and Rodriguez at first base.
That's so tough for a third baseman, though, to be able to dive and make the catch and then not lose the ball when you're transferring from glove to hand. You know, that's not easy, especially on your knees like that. So Moose has a good feel for that ball in his glove, and a third baseman's glove is a little bit deeper and bigger than some of the other gloves. So sometimes you can get it lost in there.
So the call is overturned. Get how quickly the Royals turn this play. So it's a 5-4 fielder's choice. Rodriguez at first for right fielder Gregory Polanco.
With the replay in now, and as successful as it has been, makes you wonder how they do it without replay. A lot of guys, a lot of arguments, a lot of things went on there.
Pulled foul, 0-1. Well, that's definitely something that has been lost with the advanced replay, the arguments on the field.
Because, you know, a play like that might bring the manager out, argue with the first base umpire, could get thrown out of a game. So it's eliminated all that. And Nick Leyva, the first base coach for the Pirates, he just pointed in the hurdle. He didn't even say a word to the umpire.
0-2 on Polanco.
Salvi's sitting up way out there. Ooh, man.
Right down the middle.
Yeah, Jerry, you mentioned it. Pitcher's strike zone.
Didn't get that one. How did that pitch compare to the one before?
A little better. Smart pitcher. Get it once, try it again.
Jammed him. Infante charges. Tough throw for Hosmer. But he's there for the putout, and Joe Blanton with 3 2/3 scoreless out of the Royals bullpen. Royals and Pirates, no score to the bottom of the 5th inning. Huge crowd watching again tonight. Gorgeous night. Wade Davis, the subject of our Toyota League leaders, since April 23rd. He and Mark Melancon with two of the best ERAs. J.J. Hoover of Cincinnati in between those two. And not just their effectiveness, but how they go about being so effective. We were having a conversation last night when Melancon came in, and I remember reading about him, and we saw a little bit of Melancon a few years ago when the Royals played the Pirates in Pittsburgh. An outstanding cut fastball, and I remember some people saying that when Mariano Rivera was going to retire, that he might have the best cut fastball in the game. I don't know if that's true today, but we saw that he had a pretty good one last night. So does Wade Davis.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that there are two guys that have a lower ERA than Wade Davis, the way that we've seen him pitch so effectively. But Melancon, one of those guys.
The leadoff man on for the Royals for the first time tonight is Kendrys Morales. Takes one just below his right knee.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Melancon's cutter, and keep in mind a cutter's a ball. You throw it just like a fastball, but at the very end you almost throw it like a football, so you get that spin. It's not a real deep break. It's just a very late break, and it's a small break, and as a result it's a fastball that a lot of guys tie themselves up with. Wade Davis throws exactly the same pitch, and Wade Davis has been really so effective with this pitch, and again, very similar location, very similar everything, but they get great results on that pitch. And a lot of times people think of a cut fastball, a fastball for guys that don't have a good fastball, throw that cutter, but both of these guys possess really good fastballs and a good cut fastball.
And you see the late break it's got on it. It fools the hitter.
Well, it looks like it's going to be on the inside part of the plate, and it breaks in and saws off the right or the left-handed batter.
Looks like he's got a little more of that. That's his breaking pitch. But Monty, how do you hold the cutter?
Well, again, you're going to be behind the ball. You want to be behind the ball, and at the very end, you want to be able to make that move where the pitch almost comes off of your fingers, like it's going to be a football grip at the end. So you're going to be on the side of the ball at the end. And it's not a break, it's not a twist, it's just you're on the side and you essentially cut the ball. So you're throwing the right half of the baseball if you're looking behind the baseball.
Hard to pick up as a hitter.
Oh man, you know that in a good split finger. Similar action. Looks like a fastball, and then at the last minute it darts down. Exactly.
The whole issue is you got to sell it like it's a fastball. At the very end, it just has that life on it.
Salvi grounded into his 14th double play. It's the most on the Royals. Oh, excuse me. Morales has 15.
Just got word that the report on Jason Vargas is that he left the game with left medial pain in his elbow. That double play is huge for the Pirates now, as Infante's double does not produce a run, but it gets him to second base with two down. So left medial pain in his elbow, and he's going to get an MRI tomorrow.
It's unfortunate, but that base hit there, that double, that was nice. He turned on that ball. Ball came in on him. He was ready for it. Infante, 20th double.
Alex Rios also has a double tonight. Royals have 3 hits. Rios doubled with 1 out in the 3rd. Hosmer singled, tried to stretch it into a double with 2 outs in the 4th, and now Infante's 2-out double in the 5th.
He's got the 3rd most doubles on the Royals, does Infante. 20. Kane has 21. Morales has 23. That fan right there, he's excited. He's saying, let's go. 2 outs. Let's get a run home. You may not take more than 1 or 2 tonight. Blanton keeps going, and that bullpen of the Royals getting heated up out there.
A little bit outside. 2-1 on Rios, who, by the way, was the only Royal who had seen Garrett Cole in a regular season game before tonight. 1 for 2 with a walk. Everyone else facing him for the first time, and then Rios doubled in his first at bat tonight. Polanco in right field is there, and that is the inning. Infante is stranded at second base. We've played 5 and no score. To the 6th inning, Royals and Pirates, game 2. We hope you'll join us in celebrating Hispanic Heritage this Saturday for Viva Los Reales. The Royals will don Los Reales jerseys for the event, featuring pregame festivities and the outfield experience. Enjoy live music and traditional dancing on stage, and then put your taste buds to the test at the Salsa Showdown. So it's not a dancing Salsa Showdown. We had HUD signed up for that. It is a dip salsa showdown, where local Mexican restaurants will try to earn your vote for the title of Best Salsa in KC. That's coming up on Saturday. So Ned Yost got an inning and a third out of Jason Vargas, who had to leave with pain in his left elbow. And then Joe Blanton, in an emergency appearance, goes 3 2/3 scoreless with 5 strikeouts. And now Ned gets the ball to the back end of his bullpen with Ryan Madsen pitching the 6th. And the Pirates 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up.
Joe Blanton, and what a job. He answered that call, and he just upped his stock in Ned Yost's eyes.
Huge outing, and Ned loves to have that protection. You never want to, I mean, you never count on needing to go to a guy in the 2nd or 3rd inning of a game, but when you have a guy like Blanton that can rise to the occasion, 3 2/3 scoreless innings, especially coming in to the situation he came into, runner, on 3rd base, 3-1 count, just really tough situation to work out of it. Phenomenal job.
That's the value of a veteran. You know he's not going to be rattled when he comes in, and he executed, answered the call. Great job.
1 and 2 on Neil Walker.
You know that play that ended last inning? Routine ground ball to Infante, a little bit to his left. Eric Hosmer in years past would go and field that ball and make the pitcher run over, and he would throw it to him. But on that play, he took a couple steps after it. He stopped, backed off, and went to the base, and it's a much easier out than trying to throw it to the pitcher. So nice job by Haas. Starting to realize that that play he's thrown to the pitcher is it's not as high percentage of an out as that one is.
Yeah, I can remember a few times when Hosmer went far to his right and the pitcher was expecting the second baseman to field the ball and get a late break, and actually the runner would beat the pitcher to the base.
Remember, we were talking last night about Yordan Ventura. When push comes to shove, he's going to try and throw harder. I mean, old habits are hard to break. Hosmer is so good defensively. I would bet that most of his life, his coaches have told him, if you can get to it, get it. Get any ball you can get to.
Matson's another one of those pitchers that's using a cutter more. I talked to him the other day about it. He said he used it in Philly a little bit, but he didn't have a lot of confidence in it, and he's using it a lot now.
Well, I think the fact that he's around some guys here in Royals uniforms that are having tremendous success with it allows him to kind of feed off of what they've done, maybe pick their brain a little bit, learn a little bit out in that bullpen from guys like Wade Davis who throw it so effectively and then carry it into the game and then use that same confidence.
And it gives him a third pitch. Actually, fourth pitch, really. He's got a nice slider and changeup to go with it. Ooh.
That pitch stayed up. Long run Kane. Lorenzo Kane made it look easy. But he ran from one county into another to get it.
That was a hanger. Look, a little hanging slider. Walker, good pass on it. I thought it had a chance for extra bases for sure. And Kane, with all those gears he possesses, was able to track it with no problem.
I bet he could go across the street and get a little part-time job with the Chiefs, running down some balls and some deep patterns.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
That was a similar pitch that Chris Medlin threw last night that Ishikawa homered to the opposite field, and I thought Medlin's comments after the game are interesting, that just the nature of that pitch, a changeup that's up, that if the hitter just makes contact, it's going to fly. That's the way he described it, that there's no really change in rotation on the ball. The spin stays the same after contact, and the same for Walker. The ball just jumped off of his bat.
And we say it a lot of times, when you speed up a guy's bat, and a changeup will have a tendency to speed up a guy's bat because it's probably a pitch. If it's a fastball, he takes the pitch, but if it's a changeup, he has time to react, and suddenly he takes that real quick swing and makes good contact, and a ball carries.
See that cutter right there, Monty?
Yep.
Another one, back to back at 92 and 91.
See, there he's on the side of that baseball. It doesn't have a lot of movement. It just has that late life. Looks like a fastball. Looks like it's going to be straight, but you get finished on that pitch.
Very close. 2-2 on McCutchen.
That's right where you want to put it on him, huh, Monty?
Yeah. Thought he was going to get the call. Didn't get it.
Ah, good pitch.
Got him set up for a nice changeup here.
Looks like he wants to go back to that cutter again. Even McCutchen kind of flinched like he thought he might be done. 3-2. Jammed him. Now he says it went off of his foot. Did the umpires agree? No.
I think he fell down.
Maybe he just fell down. I guess he, or did he hurt himself?
I hope not.
He's grabbing the back of his left leg, but he just hit the deck.
Boy, I sure hope he's not hurt. Never know. Sometimes when you take off as a runner, that goes quick, explosive muscles. Let's see if he didn't get twisted up. Oh yeah, he slipped. Looked like he slipped with his left foot. But the changeup, effective, worked. Down, couldn't get extended on it.
Two down is Starling Marte. No balls, one strike. Monty, what did you think when you saw the replay of Marte's ball hitting the not quite the top of the wall in the corner and landing in the bullpen?
Well, it definitely was not going to be a home run in that part of the ballpark, but it goes over to the bullpen area where the fence is seems about 18 inches lower, and I guess that's the ruling, is that they decided that it would not have cleared that fence.
So okay, so that makes more sense. They're not, because they said it went over a different fence, but what they're saying is a different an area where the fence wasn't as high.
Right. I was very surprised that they reversed that call, however.
I would assume that the umpire in New York and the umpires here on the field had never seen anything like that before. Nice short hop play by Moustakas. Ryan Madsen picks up where Joe Blanton left off. 3 Pirates up, 3 Pirates down in the 6th inning.
Go get that short hop, Moose. Be aggressive. Nice play.
Fox Sports Kansas City are offering a unique way for fans across the Midwest to enjoy a game here at Kauffman Stadium. The Forever Royal Fan Express. The next stop is Columbia. Coming up on the 25th. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information. Gerard Dyson showing bunt. Not a bad idea against Garrett Cole to begin the 6th inning. Dyson grounded out to second. The question is that his last bunt attempt in this plate appearance?
I don't know why it should be. He's extremely dangerous if he can just get on top of that ball, place it somewhere. Now he won't, of course. Cole's a good athlete, feels his position well.
Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Matt Flynn from Lee Summit. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Matt wins $200.
Time to give some money away.
If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, then Matt Flynn wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. It's Dyson, Escobar, and Moustakas. And after Dyson, the Royals will be beginning their 3rd time through the order against Garrett Cole, who's given up just 3 hits. That is his 5th strikeout. 1 down in the 6th inning.
See how Cole effectively just climbs the ladder on Dyson. Kind of a letter high fastball, but right exactly where he wanted to throw it.
Escobar has one of the few good swings against Garrett Cole tonight. He lined to left in the first inning and then grounded to short in the third. Salvador Perez has flied to the warning track in left field. Alex Rios has doubled. Hosmer has singled, tried to stretch it into a double. Infante has doubled. That's about it. But we're talking about a pitcher with a 2.30 ERA who also happens to be 13-3.
And you could see why, how consistent he is around that strike zone with all of his pitches.
He's very fearless on the mound. He doesn't, not afraid to pitch contact.
I mentioned that Rios was the only Royal who had faced Cole in a regular season game before tonight, and that's right. But in the All-Star game, Alcides Escobar faced him and flied to center field. So he had a little bit of an idea going into tonight. Back to Cole. 2 down.
Yeah, you know, speaking of being a good athlete, that was no problem at all for him. So he's able to bounce with ease.
DraftKings.com. Players to watch tonight. Eric Hosmer 1 for 2 with a single. Go to DraftKings.com. Enter the promo code BRoyal for a chance to play fantasy baseball daily for free. Two down to Mike Moustakas.
Ooh, man, there's a lot riding on this game. Come on, fellas. Let's get her a raise. Moose had an 8-pitch at bat last time up. Ooh, good pass. And he hit one foul, but had home run distance.
Up and away, 2-1. Two more hits and Mike Moustakas ties his total from last year. Two and two. 82 pitches for Garrett Cole. Cole has not had any inning tonight where he's faced more than 4 hitters. Marte coming in, long run. He is there, and that is the inning. 6 scoreless by Cole, and on the Royals side, Vargas, Blandon, and Madsen. Baseball is brought to you by AT&T U-verse high-speed internet. The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Would you like to kiss the Pope's ring?
Way to go. That looks like an original.
And by the way, our cameraman John Pope is shooting the Pope. Remember, he caught a home run off the bat of Salvador Perez out in left field?
I do. Let's see it again.
And it wasn't easy.
Good focus. Look at that smile. Yeah, he's proud, Pope.
Kelvin Herrera in the 7th inning. He is the 4th Royals pitcher tonight. Jason Vargas coming back from the disabled list tonight, went an inning and a third and had to leave because of pain in his left elbow. Joe Blanton 3 2/3 scoreless with 5 strikeouts. Ryan Madsen pitched a scoreless 6th. Hit well to center field, but that's where Kane hangs out. 1 down. This was a bounce back outing for Kelvin Herrera. He was charged with his 3rd blown save on Saturday. Allowed a 2-out solo home run to Alexei Ramirez in the 7th inning. That game went 13. Royals regained the lead in the top of the 8th after that home run, and then the White Sox tied it with 2 in the 9th. The Royals won it after Lorenzo Cain's home run in the top of the 13th inning. Below the knees, ball 1 at 100 miles an hour to Pedro Alvarez.
You know, when you're facing a guy that throws that hard, you don't have to do a lot at all. You don't have to do a leg kick or anything. You just almost want to go up there and play pepper with it. Just try to meet it.
Hosmer plays the 2nd bounce. Herrera's at the bag, close, but out.
It looked like, they knew Herrera knew he had a little bit of time with Alvarez running, but just barely stayed in the heel of his glove.
Pretty good glove work there by Herrera.
It was. Soft hands. How many pitchers dropped that?
99 out of 100 probably.
Yeah.
Brent Morel is 0 for 2.
Looks like we have a heavyweight prize fight tonight. Who will land the big blow?
Would like to see if it's going to be the Royals bullpen or the Pirates bullpen, because we need to get this guy Cole out of the game in a hurry.
Life is all about timing, and she was in the right place at the right time. Herrera has a 3-up, 3-down, top of the 7th. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Big crowd watching. 1 run may do it tonight.
Scoreless at the K. Let's take a look at some other scores as Panera brings us around the league. Detroit, J.D. Martinez flexing his muscles again. St. Louis had a big lead. Chicago has come back. Cleveland trailing Milwaukee. Minnesota and L.A. scoreless out on the West Coast. Our Mazda game break, Aaron Nola making his major league debut, guys. 7th pick in the draft last year. And he went 6 innings, gave up just 1 run. And the Phillies lost 1-0. And that home run came from Nathan Carnes, the American League pitcher from the Tampa Bay Rays. Kind of like, you know, a home run that was hit, guys, the last time, or one of the last times that the Rays and the Phillies played back in the World Series when Joe Blanton homered. This one, though, coming from Nathan Carnes and the Rays.
Thank you, Joel. Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer, and Kendrys Morales. Garrett Cole is making just his 85th pitch. Cain hits it foul. Lorenzo is struck out. Grounded back to the mound.
Very consistent with his pitch counts in the per inning.
One and two.
Fearless. He's not afraid to pitch inside. Hit his 7th batter tonight when he plunked Morales. That's a little bit too up high for comfort. Sets up a slider.
Joel was referring to Joe Blanton's home run in Game 4 of the 2008 World Series between the Phillies and the Rays. And Blanton's home run was the first since 1978 for a pitcher. Six strikeouts for Garrett Cole, and 1 down in the bottom of the 7th inning.
You know, to talk a little bit about Cole's character a little bit. Yesterday I got a chance to go on the field and see some of the Pirates, and he came running up to me like he knew me. And I said, "Hey Garrett, how you doing?" He goes, "Hey Hud, how are you? Don't you remember when I lived in Tustin, California, and my sister played with your daughter on the softball team?" And he's from Tustin, and we lived there for 13 years. And I said, "You'll have to refresh my memory. How old were you then?" He goes, "I was 12 or 13 and you used to play catch with me and Kate and your friends and some of the kids around with a tennis ball." And I went, "Oh, well, I don't exactly remember that." But he said, "Yeah, you know, living out there was a good opportunity. I liked you and Fizz and the broadcast, and you know, he was just very, very personal and open." And I had to call my daughter and I said, "Hey, Alyssa, did you remember playing with his sister Erin?" And she goes, "Yeah, I remember, Daddy." So, but the fact that he would remember that and come up to me and share that information, and I never had really met the guy, I didn't realize that we were doing that, just talks about what a you know, down-to-earth guy he is. Said he went to Orange Lutheran, which is a real powerhouse private school there in Orange County, and then went on to UCLA. But I couldn't, you know, when a kid's 12 or 13, they look a lot different than when they're a man. Ooh.
And that was a man pitch.
It was. Got in on him.
So you should take some credit for Garrett Cole and where he is right now.
Not at all. But you know, he went to the buddy walks that we used to have out there, and he was really involved at an early age and hanging out with special needs. My son was out there, and he would play catch with Cade, and he remembers that. Special guy. But he just got way in on Hosmer's hands.
Up the left field line. Foul by a few feet. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Sent in by Jordan. Thank you, Jordan. You can tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag KCDataStrong for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Morales is struck out, and he's been hit by a pitch. Over the mound, and that's Morel, the third baseman, again over on the right side of second base. So another 3 up, 3 down inning for Garrett Cole. 7 shutout innings on just 3 hits.
Still no score here at Kauffman Stadium. Our Mazda game break takes us to U.S. Cellular Field. Cardinals playing there. Royals will face St. Louis on Thursday. Michael Wacha had a no-hitter going for a while and a 7-0 lead. Tyler Saladino goes deep for his second home run. We saw him the other day, homer against Danny Duffy to break up Duffy's shutout. And here at Kauffman Stadium, the 14th sellout of the year. After the game, we'll break this one down. Hear from Ned Yost about Jason Vargas and his injury, and get you ready for the series finale tomorrow. Edinson Volquez pitching against his former team, the Pirates. Guys, I had a chance to talk to Eddie today. He has been a mentor, considers himself a teacher and a tutor to Yordano Ventura. He hadn't had a chance to talk to him about the news yet, but what he said was that he was going to tell him to go and take this as a learning experience. Eddie said that twice in his career he was sent down, once all the way from the big leagues to single A with Texas, and then again in Cincinnati back to the minors when he said Dusty Baker said to him, sometimes you've got to go back to move forward. He said it'll take Ventura a little bit of time to try to get through the frustration, but go down there, learn from it. And he said what a lot of other players told me, that we need Yordano Ventura. This guy is going to be a very good pitcher in the big leagues.
I like it. It's great advice. Go down there and get better. I like Dusty Baker's advice to Volquez. You got to go down sometimes so you can move forward. Go back to move forward, and makes a lot of sense.
Volquez on the mound tomorrow against Charlie Morton. Another night game. 6:30, Hy-Vee Royals live. First pitch 7:10, and the Royals will go to St. Louis to play one game on Thursday, and back here again Friday night against the Astros. Well, how about the guy on the mound right now? Kelvin Herrera, 2012, 76 games, 2.35 ERA. Struggled a bit the next year, went back down to the minor leagues. A year later, 70 appearances, 1.41 ERA, and an all-star.
There you go. It works. And it's going to work this time, too, for Ventura. Oh.
Slider.
Herrera had only thrown 8 pitches in his last inning.
How about Joe Blanton? 3 2/3 out of the bullpen tonight. The sprint cuts of the game against Blanton. He struck out 5.
That slider and curveball were working wonders. 5 punch-outs. Great job, especially getting called out of nowhere from the bullpen. After Vargas experiencing some pain in his elbow, And Blanton answered the call and just raised his stock amongst Ned Yost and Dave Island.
It's been almost exactly 1 year the last time that Kelvin Herrera pitched more than 1 inning.
And now this is a seldom used pitch by Herrera. That slider. He might not use that at all sometimes, and it's nice to see when he did throw it. He commanded it. Perfectly thrown. Good spot there. Right where Salvi wanted it.
Still 1-2 on Rodriguez. Two and two, going with another slider.
If it feels good, the way he's locating it, throw it. Not sure if too many Pirates have seen Herrera before.
Dyson plays it on a bounce in left field. Rodriguez is on with one down, his first hit of the game. Threw it again.
Okay, he only throws that pitch 3% of the time, and he threw it back to back, and he left it up, and it got hit. Had some topspin on it. Dyson played it on the hop.
Rodriguez has only 2 stolen bases this year. Fastball is high to Gregory Polanco, 0 for 3. Pirates have 4 hits. The Royals have 3 hits. Remember last night it was a 10-7 game, so there were 17 runs, 31 hits last night. Tonight no runs and a combined 7 hits. And we're in the 8th inning. For the Pirates, it's been all Garrett Cole. For the Royals, it's been Vargas, Blanton, Madsen, and Herrera. Three and 0 to Polanco. Three and 1.
Herrera wants to get back in that count.
And now walk and 2 on with 1 out, and Wade Davis begins to warm up in the Royals bullpen. Dave Island's going to go out and have a visit with Herrera. I mentioned that the last time Herrera pitched more than 1 inning is 1 day shy of 1 year. It was July 22nd of last season, and first reaction may be that, well, what was so significant about that game? Well, that was the day after Chris Sale shut out the Royals in Chicago. The Royals were 0-4 coming out of the All-Star break. They were 8 games out of first place. Raul Ibanez and other veterans had a players-only meeting in the training room at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago, and the Royals were never the same. Beginning that July 22nd of last year, and Herrera was part of that, pitching more than 1 inning. Royals went on a tremendous run beginning that night, leading them to the wild card berth. They won 24 out of 30 after that players only meeting in Chicago.
Another valuable ad late in the season by Dayton Moore. The organization, Infante, or excuse me, Ibanez made such a huge difference. And I remember in that meeting, he just said, hey, look, I've been on teams that's played against you guys, and you ought to hear what they're saying about you. You guys are tough. You're tough to beat. Other teams think you're the greatest. Start playing like it. We can do this. Have confidence in yourself. You guys are good.
Shallow left field. 2 down. Neil Walker is 0 for 4.
Well, there's no doubt about it. These two teams are the best baseball teams matching up, and the interleague record shows it. Both teams play in the other league just airtight. Royals having a lot of success against the National League.
Andrew McCutchen coming up with 12 home runs, 57 RBIs this year. Herrera gives the Royals an inning and 2/3, and McCutchen will get Wade Davis. Last night, only a combined 7 hits so far tonight. If you're on the road and want to watch the Royals, well, just subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices. You'll get real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Looks like Wade Davis is going to have a 4-out night. Melvin Herrera got the Royals 5 outs, and Davis comes on with runners at first and second, 2 down to face Andrew McCutchen.
That's just the second time this season he's come in with some runners on. 2 outs. Davis going to show him McCutchen that fastball, 90 to 97, cuts it. overhand curve.
Sal keeps it in front of him. Rodriguez is at second base. Polanco's at first. McCutchen is 0 for 3, and in his last at bat he grounded out to short and fell, leaving the batter's box, and it looked like he was holding the back of his left leg as he walked back to the third base dugout. I mentioned that McCutchen has power, 12 home runs, but in the outfield, the Royals are playing him like a right-handed slap hitter. Outfield is shallow and playing him the other way.
.382 hitter with runners in scoring position. This is a big opportunity for Davis.
Two and one. That looked like it was Cutter. Little late movement there on McCutchen.
Dyson has 4 outfield assists in left. Kane has 3 in center. Rios has 3.
Runners go, and it's fouled back, and they both had good jumps.
Clint Hurdle moving his runners there. That's a good idea. Davis now looking for the strikeout. I mean, they weren't too concerned about holding those runners. This is where it's all at. Pitcher and batter. Classic confrontation. Power on power.
Salvador Perez wants to rethink that pitch. He gave Davis the sign, and he was the one that requested timeout from the home plate umpire.
He's going to throw him the curve or the cutter. Good spot down low.
So now the runners are going. Rodriguez at second, Polanco at first. Struck him out. Inning over.
What a pitch. You see how McCutchen flinched there right at the end. That's what that cutter does. Oh, great execution by the waiter. Check, please. And a beauty.
Jason Vargas coming back from the disabled list, left with pain in his left elbow in the second inning. So Joe Blanton comes out of the Royals bullpen. He goes 3 2/3 scoreless with 5 strikeouts. Ryan Madsen pitches a scoreless 6th inning. Kelvin Herrera goes an inning and 2/3 tonight, handing the ball off to Wade Davis with 2 on 2 out in the 8th. He strikes out Andrew McCutchen. And the Royals pitching staff losing the starter in the second inning have had a brilliant night. 5 pitchers have held the Pirates scoreless in 8 innings. 1 Pirates pitcher has held the Royals scoreless in 7 innings. Garrett Cole, who has never pitched a major league complete game, is at 97 pitches after his first 2 here in the 8th.
Every baseball fan in the country knows about the Royals bullpen and how good they are. But tonight, they have been on display of what they can do with their bullpen, matching Garrett Cole.
Salvador Perez, a .254 hitter overall, but when he leads off an inning, he hits .344. Right center field, and slicing into Polanco, who makes the play. 1 down.
The bullpen has the best ERA in the American League with 2.18. Second most innings the Royals have out of their bullpen in the league. 305 innings. They're getting tested tonight in passing it.
Royals have 3 hits against Garrett Cole. Omar Infante has 1 of them, a double back in the 5th. Royals with 2 outs. Rios has doubled. Hosmer has singled out, trying to stretch it into a double. And Infante has doubled. Those are the only hits against Garrett Cole, who has not thrown more than 18 pitches in 1 inning. That puts him at 101 pitches for the night. His season high is 116. He's also thrown 114 in 1 game. 2-1.
Well, he's got great life, and he's mixing all of his pitches now. Haven't seen too many curveballs, but he's throwing a few of them and a few changeups. 2 and 4 seam fastballs. Ooh. Well, that's a slider, a beauty. Perfectly located. Now, we talked about it a lot, how the Royals have been able to beat aces all season long, but having never faced Garrett Cole before, he's been just a lot.
Oh. Walker had it go right through his legs, and Infante will have to stop at second. That was a good play by the center fielder McCutchen, charging in hard. If he dogs that at all, Infante can go to second base.
Yeah, and the minute Infante saw it get through the legs, he really kicked it in and was thinking about going to second base, but he decided not to. See if the Royals can make that hurt. That's a routine ball. And he was down on it and everything. And when sometimes you feel that ball back underneath you and not out in front, you can't see it. That's why you teach the young kids, get the gloves out in front, get your arms extended so you can see the ball go in the glove. Even a big leaguer makes a play like that, or misses a play like that.
And that's into center field, down in front of McCutchen, and Infante is headed for third. Rios to second.
Great base running. The minute McCutchen caught that ball on the hop, it turned McCutchen around towards left field, and Infante saw that, and he went on and went to third base. Nice read. Infante being careful out there, but then he saw this sinking liner, and he watched how McCutchen turned. See, when he turned like that, Infante said, "That's my opportunity to go," and Rios followed suit. Watch him. He's slowing down right there, and it was the body angle that McCutchen caught that ball as it almost got by him. They took advantage of it. Look at that. That's heady base running, looking to take the next base. Rusty Kuntz just told Rios on a fly ball, go back to second base and tag. Fly ball would be great if Dyson could pull it off. Infield in. Cole has been striking or been going after Dyson up in the strike zone. I don't know if you'll get a better opportunity than this. They haven't had one all night. And in between, after that play was settled, Cole was not happy. You could see him. He was talking. He was not happy with what was coming out of his mouth.
.98. He's still throwing 98 miles an hour in the 8th inning with his 106th pitch. It's kind of like Justin Verlander in the peak of his career, where he seemed to throw harder the deeper he went into the game.
Look at that scowl on Cole. What he means business.
Almost got him on the knee.
Talk about what a competitor this guy is. He loves to compete at anything. He wants to win, but especially when he's on the mound. And man, that just missed Dyson's left knee. I mean, Dyson thought he got hit.
It's the first time all night, and this is the 8th inning, that the Royals have had more than one runner at a time.
Dyson into right field. 1 run home. Rios will score. 2-0 Royals in the 8th.
Dyson had a good idea that high fastball was coming after the slider almost hit him, and he was on it. It had jammed him, but it's okay. He got better than a sac fly. That's a clutch hit there by Gerard Dyson. Moving in, trying to get in on him. They did, but Dyson with a good level swing met it just like he wanted. Cole couldn't bear to watch as the crowd here at the K got their money's worth so far. Yeah, you got to take Cole out after that. It's too bad Neil Walker didn't make that play for him, but you look, the Royals took advantage of the miscue, and that's what the Royals can do. That's how they build their rallies, on the littlest things.
And Neil Walker, by the way, was the first to arrive at the mound when Clint Hurdle got there. He sprinted in from second base and gave Cole a pat on the shoulder. So pitching change for the Pirates. Royals by 2 in the 8th. Seven scoreless innings for Cole on only 3 hits with 1 out, a big error, A base hit by Rios. Dyson drives in 2. And now he's at second base with 1 out. And you know he wants to go to third. And this is Archimedes Caminero.
Power fastball. He's got a good one. He'll go upper 90s. Might even see 100. Cuts that fastball. He's got a slider and a split finger. Remember, the way this game was going, it was like a prize fight. Who's going to blink first? And it looked like Neil Walker blinked, not Cole.
Ball 1 from Caminero. Alcides Escobar is 0 for 3.
Stewart's thrown out 28% of runners. The Pirates catcher.
Royals do not have a stolen base tonight. They had 4 last night. And the Pirates have allowed the most stolen bases in the major leagues. There goes Dyson. Throw to third. Not in time. Runner at third base with 1 out.
Fearless. When Dyson's on the bases, he fears no one. He's aggressive. He's going to go, and everyone knows it. Nothing you can do.
That is the 83rd stolen base allowed by the Pirates.
So Hurdle's got to pull his infielders in. Escobar looking right back up the middle. Little short, little swing.
98.
It looked like that was a breaking ball the way he swung at that. You don't see too many 2-0 swings from Escobar like that.
Three and 1.
Since June 15th, Escobar has been nobody better. 47 hits. Leads the major leagues.
Into right field. Escobar drives in Dyson. And after being held down for 7 innings, the Royals come up with 3 in the 8th.
Escobar knows exactly how to handle a guy like this with a short, compact stroke. Not trying to hit a home run here. All they need is that run, and he picked it up with a beautiful piece of hitting there. Watch him, just short to the ball. Just threw the head of the bat out there for our Jeep drive of the game, and it was a beauty. A little more insurance.
Now let's see if Escobar tries to run. Still only 1 out. Caminero was thinking that way. So Garrett Cole hit with 3 runs. One of those runs coming home after he departed, after being almost unhittable for the first 7 innings. The inning began with a harmless fly ball to right field from Salvador Perez. Then what looked like a harmless ground ball to second base from Omar Infante. And to make sure, it looked like that he would field the ground ball, second baseman Neil Walker went down to a knee and has still got through him. And the Pirates have not recorded an out since. Pitching out, Escobar not running.
It's amazing what can happen in a game with one miscue, and when you're facing a championship caliber team like the Royals, they'll make you pay more times than not, especially this late in the game and hadn't scored a run yet. Nobody feels worse than Neil Walker. I mean, he was on a knee, just like you said. The only mistake he made is he tried to catch it under his legs instead of catching it out front. Couldn't see it into his glove.
So Infante reached on the air. Rios singled. The ball took a tricky hop on McCutchen. Infante went to third. Rios to second. Dyson drove in Infante and Rios. He stole third and just scored on the Escobar base hit.
The Royals are an excellent base running team. And that's a little thing, you might think, but it turns into big things.
Escobar started to go and stopped 2-0.
Just the fact that Infante and Rios pressured them with really good instinctive base running. That's all that was. And I saw Rusty Kuntz. I read his lips telling Rios when he went back to second over there, hey, if they hit the sac fly, go back and tag at second base. So Rusty Kuntz, he's in charge of all that base running, and he really pays attention to the detail, and that helps this team be a well-rounded, well-oiled machine.
This is going to be a very long run for Gung, and he makes the play. Very good play. All by himself on the left side of the infield and basically in the shortstop position, so he ran a mile to get to it. And there are 2 down.
Yeah, scouting report they have on Gung is he may not be quick with his first or second steps, but he looked like when he gets going, he got to that. Look at him looking down. He knew exactly where he was. Nice play. Tester. He looked down not once, but he looked down twice. Ball's coming back with that spin on it.
Two outs to Lorenzo Cain, who has a 9-game hitting streak on the line here. Caminero still paying close attention to Escobar.
You know, and Rodriguez over there at first base, man, he might need a catcher's glove. It's Caminero, he fires that ball over there.
Cain going for it all. 0-1.
But when you can change speeds with your fastball like that, going from 90 to 98, what a weapon that is.
One and one. Stewart keeps the ball in front of him, so Escobar stays put. 2-1 to Cain. It was last night in the 8th inning with the Royals down by 3. They're up by 3 here that Cain just missed, hitting a 3-run game-tying home run against Tony Watson.
You'd like to have that back. He's got him a 9-game hitting streak on the line. Needs a knock.
Out to Gung, and that is the inning. And appropriate or ironic that the inning ends in the glove of Neil Walker, because this rally started on a ground ball that avoided Walker's glove. Dyson made the Pirates pay, driving in 2. Escobar added an RBI, and the Royals lead 3-0. game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Garrett Cole, he was outstanding. And one little play like that gave the Royals a little hope. Rios, who's been swinging a hot bat, he dropped it in. McCutcheon did a nice job to keep it from going by him, but the runners advanced, and here comes Dyson. Oh, what a beautiful stroke. Now, it got in on his hands, and he didn't barrel it, but man, he got the runs in. That's all that matters. And then beautiful stroke there, short and quick by Escobar, brings in Dyson, and there we have it. Heavyweight fight. Who's going to blink first? 8th inning. The Royals got 3 on that momentum from the error that was made.
So Greg Holland with a 3-run lead throws a strike to Marte. 4, 5, 6 hitters coming up. Holland coming back after a blown save. That was in the game on Saturday. Royals had a 2-run lead in the 9th inning. Chicago tied it with a 2-out rally. Up the middle, Escobar cuts it off, turns, throws, not in time. Marte runs well, and Pirates have the leadoff man on.
Nice try. Wasn't hit hard enough. But you know, you gotta love how Ned Yost has used his bullpen. You know, everyone knows how great the bullpen is, but tonight, with the unexpected injury by Vargas early, Ned brought in Blanton answered. 3 2/3 of scoreless. Madsen, Herrera for his longest outing of the year, an inning and 2/3 by Herrera. And then Davis came in for just 1 hitter, got the big strikeout, and now it's on to Holland.
Going out into center field, and Kane started in. Pirates are going to wave the runner home, and at the plate. Thank you very much.
Third base coach Rick Sofield knows that Marte runs well. Rarely do you see a ball not judged properly by Lorenzo Cain, but look, he did a great job of picking it up off the warning track, off the wall, getting it right to Escobar. And a good throw by Escobar. Got him. Now watch Lorenzo Cain. That ball, he barreled it a lot. It looked like it jammed him, but Lorenzo Cain picks it up off the track. Sofield thought he had it. No replay. Now watch Lorenzo Cain. He doesn't take time and take a crow hop. Watch him. He just grabs it and gets it in there. That's fundamentally sound. That's how you get a guy at the plate like that. You get it in quickly to the cutoff man. You don't take a big crow hop and wind up and throw. That takes too much time. Well, that was nice.
And that's a huge play, because the Pirates were going to have the potential tying run at the plate with nobody out. Instead, there's 1 out, and the potential tying run is on deck. And there are over 38,000 here at Kauffman Stadium tonight, and yet Rick Sofield feels pretty lonely in that third base coach's box. That is not a meaningful base runner at this point in the game.
You're right. Feels like Neil Walker felt. But he runs well. Look at him. He's going. It takes a perfect throw. Now the ball was a little bit towards the first base side, but hard. Escobar using his strongest tool. That's that arm. Royals again showing airtight defense. That's a fundamentally sound relay throw there. It was one of the best we've seen this year. Holland with a hammer. Perfectly located.
Two down, and the tying run remains on deck. And now Travis Ishikawa, who had a huge night last night, will pinch hit for Brent Morel. He drove in 4 last night in the Pirates' 10-7 win.
Yeah, he got hot, and he put some nice swings on the ball. Big night for him. Medlin, ball up and away, same thing. Ishikawa feeling comfortable. He wasn't done.
that's past Holland and into center field. So Gung will score, and now the potential tying run will come to the plate. So Holland's given up 3 hits in the inning. Ishikawa has driven in 5. He was 1 for 13 as a Pirate and 1 for 18 as a big leaguer when this series began.
Makes him 2 for 9 as a pinch hitter this season. That's a good hit there. Guided it right back up the middle.
And now Chris Stewart, who has not hit a home run this year. 1 for 3 tonight. Holland in with strike 1. One and one on Stewart.
If you like high scoring games, you saw one last night. It wasn't what the Royals wanted because they didn't get the win, but tonight, game 2, wonderfully pitched game.
Two and one on Stewart. And now 2 and 2. Chris Stewart has faced Holland once before tonight, and he's singled. On deck is Sean Rodriguez. He has faced Holland 4 times.
That fan hasn't been able to sit in his seat the whole game.
3 and 2, and now Ishikawa will be running. See what Stewart did there, trying to stay in step with the new rules. He started to go out of the batter's box, caught himself, and ran back in. Ishikawa runs. Ball 4. Tying run is at first base. So Holland has allowed 4 base runners. He has recorded 1 out, the other out recorded by the defense. And that brings up Sean Rodriguez. Mentioned Rodriguez has faced Holland the most of any Pirate after his days with Tampa Bay, but he is 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts against Holland. Slider in for strike 1. So no runs tonight for 7.5 innings. The Royals get 3 in the 8th. The Pirates get 1 in the 9th. Way out in front. No balls, 2 strikes. 38,163.
Holland going with that slider, and that's the pitch there. He's got to really hang it for him to hit it out of the park, so he's keeping that ball down low.
Slow roller to third.
Nope.
Moustakas has no play. The bases are loaded with 2 down. And now the tying run is at second base, and the go-ahead run is at first.
Pirates.
Like the Royals.
Yeah, they are very similar. 0 and 2. I mean, a good pitch. It was located down, and he just topped it. Couldn't have bunted it any better. Swinging bunt.
The Pirates have 4 hits against Holland. 2 of them are infield hits. And 5 base runners in the inning. Ishikawa at third. He's driven in the run. Stewart at second. He walked. And Rodriguez extending the inning with an infield base hit. And now Gregory Polanco. 0 for 3 tonight with an 8th inning walk. a tough time with his slider tonight.
That was well executed there. Try where you want to keep it.
Mike Moustakas, foul ground, runs out of room. Collins ahead 1-2.
Sellout crowd on their feet, got their money's worth tonight. One more out.
Game over. It wasn't easy, but Greg Holland hangs in there and makes Gerard Dyson's clutch hit stand up. And the Royals even the series after a wild offense-filled game last night. Tonight, a pitching-dominated KCW. As the Royals use 6 pitchers tonight. Vargas out with an injury in the second inning. Blanton, Madsen, Herrera, Davis, Holland. And the Royals win it 3-1.
Timely hits and get it to the pin to win with a KCW. The bullpen shining its brightest light on this game here, July 21st, second game of the series against the Pirates. Now they have a chance to take 2 out of 3 and get the series tomorrow. Championship caliber teams, they make the opponents pay whenever there's a mistake, and it happened late. Not any offense at all. Garrett Cole was solid, left the pitch up. Dyson's able to fight it out there to right field and bring home 2. That was clutch. The crowd went crazy. So did the dugout. Big time fill in for Alex Gordon. Another guy stepping up.
And he's down on the field with Joel.
Ryan, thank you very much. As Gerard Dyson, a chance to shake hands with his teammates, and what a win against one of the best pitchers, the major league wins leader right now. Uh-oh. You want to know how you avoided that one, Dice?
Thanks to you.
No, I was going to let you talk about your speed.
That's what speed do.
There you go. There aren't a lot of guys that can avoid the Salvi Gatorade bucket. There also aren't a lot of guys that have been able to hit Garrett Cole. How are you guys finally able to break through against him?
You know, we just trying to have good at-bats and get a good pitcher you can hit, and just keep the line moving.
Well, let's talk about the way this team has been able to overcome adversity, injuries. Again, another one tonight. Alex Gordon recently. How have you been able to do it?
You know, I just look at it like somebody got...
Sorry.
Come on, Joe.
Thank you. He was staring at me for about 2 minutes. He was coming back for more. Okay, the adversity of this team and just the ability. How have you been able to do it?
You know what? We don't give up and don't give in, baby.
The atmosphere here, you guys are getting used to seeing sellout crowds, sellout on a Monday night, sellout on a Tuesday night. How much does this feel like that playoff atmosphere?
We love every minute of it.
Final question for you. I just want to ask you, we've talked so much about the defense and also the bullpen on a night tonight where you don't expect this to happen. Jason Vargas goes down. I know that's a tough situation, but how about the job of the bullpen?
You know, the bullpen been doing a great job all year, and that's what we expect out of them, and that's what they expect out of themselves.
Got a little bit of Gatorade hanging from that beard there. Go wash it off and celebrate with your teammates.
All right, see you guys.
Gerard Dyson, the hero in this one. 2 RBIs in the 8th, the stolen base and a run. And he smells like Gatorade and victory.
Good way to put it, Joel. If the guys smell like Gatorade after the game, that's a good thing. And look at Joel showing what speed do, sort of. We'll be right back.